is CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for being with us. I'm Chelsea Jones, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. We want to take a look at today's top stories.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
We want to start with a live look downtown. Outside, it looks pretty good. A little clouds out there. It looks a little gloomy, but we are tracking the tropics this afternoon. We have Next Weather Chief Meteorologist and Hurricane Specialist Ivan Cabrera with more on the tropics. What are you tracking right now?
Hey, Chelsea, the big story, of course, is the strongest hurricane to ever form in the month of June across the Atlantic basin here, breaking all sorts of records. But the folks in Grenada are not caring about that. They're caring about the fact that they just went through 150-mile-an-hour winds. Prime Minister of Grenada describing some of the islands there is just completely flattened. Those are his words. So we'll have to wait to see how they fare there. Hopefully everyone's okay. But this is a dangerous storm, continues to be that. You can see the eye beginning to pull away from the island chain here as it made a direct impact there with Carriacou early this morning as the first of what will be several landfalls here, hopefully not in Jamaica, but that is the forecast to get it very close to Jamaica and then eventually the Yucatan. Pressure incredibly low there at 946 millibars. So there is the cone of uncertainty, right? It's going to continue moving towards the west, northwest over the next few days, and we'll have an update on that at the top of the hour. We'll have a new advisory from the National Hurricane Center. 82 in Key West right now in Marathon. We're still dealing with our own storms, but I think from earlier today, things will begin to quiet down, just a few showers left over, and then things will be clear for the rest of the evening with temperatures in the low 80s. Our rain chances are actually going to be lower the next few days. I think tomorrow we'll have the highest of the next several days, and then things will begin to wind down with this easterly wind that will favor a couple of morning showers, and then in the afternoon we'll transition to some thunderstorms right along the interior as everything then continues to push off towards the west through the southwestern part of the state for the next few days here. Rain chances still pretty good tomorrow. Then get 20, 40, 50% coverage. We'll about do it. And then as we head into the next 7 days, we'll have conditions improving for your 4th of July. That is coming, right? Just a couple of days away as we head into Thursday here. Rain chance at 30%. We'll have temperatures in the lower 90s, pretty typical for this time of year, and a little bit drier as well with the rain chances not out of hand, certainly not like the parade on Sunday. I think we're still drying out, some of us. 30% rain coverage for Friday heading into the upcoming weekend. Hopefully it's a long weekend for you with overnight temperatures in the 80s. So again, you'll join us on CBS Miami. You'll have the latest. Hurricane hunters have been flying, obviously, day in and day out into Beryl to give us the latest information. But right now, the update is it's pulling away from the islands, but it is going to continue moving west-northwest. That will put Jamaica in its path, likely as we head into Wednesday. Big update at 5 o'clock. Hope you join us for that.
On it, Ivan, thank you so much. Well, Davie police say they are waiting for confirmation from the medical examiner, but it appears lightning killed a Broward man Sunday morning. CBS News Miami's Joan Murray is walking us through what we know about the victim.
Davie police confirmed the man who died is 19-year-old Ethan Lawrence. Here is what we know. Lawrence was working out at Vista View Park in Davie on Sunday morning. Apparently, there was a lightning strike. They are waiting for the medical examiner to confirm that Lawrence died of the lightning strike. People who exercise in that area say that it is such a shock to have somebody die in that location.
I always check the weather before I come out here and that stuff, but hearing about it, yeah, I guess you just gotta be more cautious about it from now on, but it's just only so much you can control.
We're told that Lawrence was a cross-country runner at West Broward High School. He graduated last year, and this year he was a runner at University of Jacksonville. We'll talk to his mother coming up at 5 on CBS Miami. Joan Murray, CBS News Miami.
15 Cuban migrants made their way to Key West, police sharing these photos of pictures of the homemade vessel that made landfall at Smathers Beach last night. The Coast Guard says they will be processed for removal proceedings, and it comes days after nearly 200 Haitian migrants made it to the Keys in a sailboat. Broward Sheriff's deputies arrested a man who they say carjacked a woman and took off with her 3-year-old daughter inside the car in Oakland Park. 35-year-old Willio Petioma was arrested after an anonymous tip led deputies to him. Petioma faces a slew of charges, including kidnapping, carjacking, interfering with custody of a minor, and illegal use of a credit card. Investigators say the mother and her child were involved in a car accident on West Commercial Boulevard. That is when they say that Petioma entered the driver's side of the victim's car, began to drive away with the little girl inside, and then you see it. Surveillance video showing what appears to be Petioma exiting the vehicle and placing a car seat on a sidewalk. Petioma is also accused of abandoning the car and using the victim's credit card at a Family Dollar store. Now at 4 o'clock, the Chopper 4 was over this scene of a deadly shooting in the Gould's neighborhood in southwest Miami-Dade. Police say a man was shot and killed on 215th Street and 122nd Avenue. Officers say they found him on the sidewalk in front of a home, but it's unclear what led up to the shooting or who the shooter is. Flooding frustration continuing in Hollywood. CBS News Miami's Ted Scouten is explaining how the city is coming up with different solutions to help fix the problem.
For years, Hollywood has flooded during big rains and storms. Now the city is trying to come up with some interim solutions to try and correct some of that. Right now, crews are dredging and expanding ditches at 2 of the city's golf courses. This one is the Echo Golf Course next to 14th Avenue near Sheridan Street. It's an area that floods when there's big rain. They're also doing the same thing at the old Sunset Golf Course. That's at Johnson and I-95. The idea is to move water off the streets and away from homes into deeper, wider ditches, reducing the chances of major flooding. Hollywood is also looking into using city golf courses like Echo and Sunset to be a place where floodwater can run off, a holding area for stormwater. Coming up at 5:30, we'll hear from some residents who are in the flood zone. In Hollywood, Ted Scouten, CBS News Miami.
The search continues for a missing 3-year-old girl last seen in South Miami. Her name is Shia Emmenheiser, and we're told she was last seen Monday and maybe in the company of Christine Betancourt. It's unclear what the woman's relationship is with the toddler, but if you spot them, contact police. Well, as you heard Ivan mention, a dangerous Category 4 hurricane is threatening parts of the eastern Caribbean. Hurricane Beryl regained strength over the weekend before making landfall in the region Monday. Forecasters say there's never been a recorded Atlantic hurricane that became so powerful so early in the year. CBS News Miami's Cristian Benavides has been tracking this storm from Miami.
Hurricane Beryl made landfall near Grenada early Monday as residents on the Caribbean island hunkered down in their homes.
The state of emergency remains in place. It is for your own safety.
The Category 4 storm, packing winds of 150 miles per hour, dumped heavy rain throughout the Windward Islands and Barbados, blowing roofs off homes.
We're in a town called Worthing, close to the airport.
This travel blogger from Canada captured video of Beryl whipping up waves as it churned along the eastern Caribbean.
We are amongst many who will be impacted, and that kind of builds a sense of community in the middle of a storm like this.
In just a span of 42 hours, Beryl went from a tropical depression to a major hurricane, something forecasters say is rarely seen in the Atlantic at this time of year. Officials say that's due in part to warmer water temperatures resulting from climate change.
Teams are deployed to check for debris, check for fallen trees, check for fallen poles.
Ahead of the storm, residents on the islands boarded up shops and raced to grocery stores for essentials.
I have my water, bottled water and collected water. I have my extra food stuff, my batteries.
It's still unclear if Beryl will pose a threat to the U.S. after it moves on to other parts of the Caribbean and Mexico over the next few days. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
More on that at 5 o'clock, but you could be saving a few bucks this summer. We'll tell you all about the tax-free holiday taking place right now. What's included, we'll tell you after the break. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. The U.S. Supreme Court ended its term today with a landmark decision on presidential immunity. The decision has a direct impact on former President Donald Trump's current legal troubles. CBS News Miami's Nydia Cavazos reports from outside the Supreme Court.
In a 6-3 opinion, the Supreme Court ruled Monday that former presidents have absolute immunity from prosecution for official acts related to their core constitutional powers. But the court said there is no immunity for unofficial acts and gave some guidance on how lower courts can draw that line.
For those things that are just within the president's ambit, absolute immunity. For official acts in general, at least presumptive immunity. For unofficial acts, no immunity.
Former President Donald Trump has repeatedly argued that he had absolute immunity.
You have to give a president full and total immunity.
In a scathing dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote about the potential dangers of this decision on U.S. democracy. The ruling affects Special Counsel Jack Smith's prosecution of Trump for election interference for his role in the January 6 assault on the U.S. Capitol. The case now goes back to the lower court, which will have to look at what acts are official and what are unofficial.
There is an enormous amount of legal work that is now going to have to unfold over the next several months.
By waiting until July to issue their ruling, the justices have severely reduced the likelihood of Trump standing trial before the November election. Nidia Cavazos, CBS News, the Supreme Court.
Ex-Trump advisor Steve Bannon has begun serving his 4-month prison sentence for contempt of Congress. A small group of supporters cheered for Bannon across the street from a low-security federal prison in Danbury, Connecticut. Others in the crowd chanted, "Lock him up" and "Traitor." Bannon was convicted after defying a subpoena from the House January 6 committee investigating the attack on the Capitol. He called his incarceration a great day.
I am proud to go to prison. If this is what it takes to stand up to tyranny, if this is what it takes to stand up to the Garland, corrupt, criminal DOJ.
2 years while he appealed, but an appeals court panel upheld his contempt conviction and the U.S. Supreme Court rejected his last-minute plea. Well, the 2024 Florida Freedom Month sales tax holiday kicks off today, so through the 31st, several items and activities will be tax-free. It includes admission to various events like live music, sporting events, movies, museums, fairs, and festivals. It also includes electric scooters under $500, as well as boating, water, and outdoor activity supplies like life jackets, tents, and bikes. You can find a full list of what's exempt and the price requirements on our website, cbsmiami.com. Well, that'll do it for our Quickcast. I'm Chelsea Jones. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS Miami.